morning. Thank you very much gathering again this last day. I really hope that everyone could enjoy very much, and it is really wonderful camp. I'd like to talk with you today the future of the world and how can we build up the peaceful planetary world. If we go as it is, without putting our efforts much, we can think two possible ways which may happen or will happen definitely. One is nuclear war may happen, which I estimate, you may have a different opinions, but which I estimate the year of, between the year of 1990 to the 2000, most probably 1994, 1995, around that time, would be the most dangerous period. That, of course, wipe out almost all entire mankind. When I was 20 years old, actually in American way, the 19 years old, I was drafted. I was stationed, the guard, and before we went to that place, Kyushu Island, we passed Hiroshima. Hiroshima was at that time about 500,000 populations. Every house was standing and people were busy. And the station stopped about 20 minutes, train stopped 20 minutes in Hiroshima cities. And it was a very beautiful, wonderful city. After I was discharged from drafts after the end of war, again, the train stopped at the Hiroshima station on the way going back my home. At that time, Hiroshima station was just barrack of the wood. And I was amazed when I stood up at stations. All over, entire field is totally smashed, ashes and ashes and ashes. Here and there, sometimes melted, twisted buildings, the concrete or steel buildings here and there. Here and there, some wood trees, burned one. But far, miles and miles and miles, open field. There, about 300,000 people were almost instantaneously killed and disappeared. That situations will happen throughout the entire world, not only major cities, but also all rural area also. Soon after explosions, the gore, radiations, and various sickness begin. And that possibility is still existing, and more increasing those possible destructions. That is one possible happening. Second possible happening is because of very intensive degeneration, physical, mental, spiritual degeneration. Society become more and more difficult and more quickly change all ideas, all cultures, and all social systems. Suppose bionation or bionization. That replacing our organs, glands, to the artificial organs and glands, more and more spread. Together with that, psychonization begins. Controlling our mind through drugs, electronics, or various things. Eventually, satellites may send down certain wavelengths throughout the earth, which making controlling our mind. And then followed ultra-psychonation, making people's memories, mind, basic concept, what is love, what is the human relations, what is respect, what is the God, etc., all programs. And genetic engineering, creating more and more artificial species, which means natural human species will end, perish away, and artificial human species or artificial species will take over the world. Our children and children rapidly more and more artificialized. Their free thinkings, their free health no more exist and will be programmed, will be regulated, will be artificialized. For these kinds of societies throughout the world, what kind of world will come? First of all, every individual peoples will be controlled. They would be monitored. They would be checked out. That means throughout the world, huge the information systems through computers, and everyone's behavior, everyone's thinking, everyone's the day-to-day life will be checked up. Free expression is no longer exist, all artificialized. And that control will be made by one place, which we call at that time world government, most probably. And various those data of informations monitored by computers, and some people who are unnecessary or who are anti-societies, anti-social behavior will be killed, and who are obedient, who are following blindly artificial programs, they will be secured. Their total world become dictatorship, mechanical, artificial dictators. For example, you can imagine, for example, if you became kidney troubles, already people are experiencing, then taking out kidney or replacing kidney or go dialysis. If you go dialysis, you have to go every week, once, twice, 3 times the hospitals must go. Meanwhile, you are checked out, all conditions so forth. They are monitored, of course. Same way, everyone becoming more artificialized, bionated, cyclonated. So everyone will be controlled. And without natural love and sexual behaviors, the artificial species spread more and more through artificial inseminations. So traditional culture, traditional heritage, traditional religions, everything will become no value. New mechanized programs will become, in the name of science, in the name of technologies, will become the controlling factor. Education will be no longer the nature to develop the happy, free expression, free thinkings. But education is becoming more standardized the people's mind, people's condition, people's behavior. No longer your own creative personal expression is allowed, and it's not possible. Comparing American friends is very much afraid of communistic societies because lack of free expressions. But far more greater, 10 times, 100 times greater control will be happening if bionization, cyclonization continues. And that will be made in the name of security of people and health of the people and peace of the societies. And in the name of development of civilization, development of science and technologies. Towards that direction, all systems now going on with enormous speed. Many capitals moving towards that direction. Many banking is moving towards that direction. Many scientific engineering going towards that direction. Food will be no longer naturally cultivated. Will become completely artificialized. And then will be rationed also. Calories, measurement, this and that. And they are fed, they are delivered to each places, each the home, and they would be fed. And not only through the mouth, probably periodically through intravenous, etc., day to day, will be surprised, vitamin, how much, this, how much, etc., so forth. Which serious sick people, bionated, partially bionated people already going on. Also, furthermore, so-called marriage wouldn't exist anymore. Sex is no longer needed for the reproduction of children because of genetic engineering will develop very much. So, sex will become only for the means of pleasures. So, in order to secure the pleasures, besides sex becomes so liberal, not only sex, all kinds of pleasure, appealing senses and emotions will be systematically spread. And because the idea is changed, we don't need home because we don't need children to produce, to bring up, to pure our love. So naturally, the children will be, so produce the new children would be, the nationally, socially will be taken care. under the name of social welfare. And also, therefore, no longer marriage is needed. Free sex behaviors all over. And not only sex, many kinds of emotional, sensory, stimulating entertainment is become universal, which is programmed again by the central government. And so the family or home or marriage will entirely become null and void. Individual citizens are not allowed to express their native the ideas, native speech, native ideas, his own ideas, because that is for the world of mechanized artificial societies. His native voice, his natural opinion is anti-social opinions. So that kind of people who wants to be free, wants to express free opinion, will be caught as a criminal and sent to the institutions. There they would receive some drugs or injections or some kind of electronic vibrations and make, within 1 week, completely change his ideas, so forth. Artificialize thinkings, deprograms, and return to the societies. And this bionation, or bionization and psychonization, making people's efficiency, working efficiency, labor efficiency becoming very down. So all enterprise will be more and more adapting, applying robots, man-made robots, which will be more and more refined, developed, and computerized. By the way, already now available, like human skin, human type of skin and muscles and body warmth and smiles, expressions, talk, hearings, those robots already available. And robots who has a Gary Cooper face or Marilyn Monroe body already available. And these things more and more develop, and robots will be taking over various kinds of major work of the human world. So between robots and bionated and psychonated peoples, artificialized peoples, the new society will begin. Naturally, that kind of society's leading power is, number one, capital, money. And power. And they use the names. This is development of civilization. This is development of science. This is development of engineering. This is the prosperity of civilizations. And this is social justice. This is everyone's social welfare. In that way, under these names, that trend will be pushed forward, go throughout the world. That type of world government will be possible and very certainly will happen if we didn't have nuclear war. That kind of government will begin the era of 2030, 2040, from now about half centuries later, more and more apparently. These children, these wonderful, beautiful children, while they were still alive, these things will begin more and more systematically, as already begun, and their children will be definitely controlled their day-to-day life. And many of these children, while they were becoming 30, 40 years old, many of them will be receiving also, if they did not become sick, physically sick, then mentally they manipulated and change their characters, their way of thinking. No longer the idea of love, no longer idea of the respect, no longer of ideas of care, so forth. And this religion, our religion, Catholic, Judaism, or Protestants, or Buddhism, whatever, all will become null and void. Their religion is scientific engineering mechanics. That is the religion. As Dr. Robert Mendelssohn pointed out, now is medicine is religion. Modern medicine is religion. And doctors are priests. People are blindly following, and people are submitting their life to their hand blindly. And whatever doctors say, by that people get afraid, people become frightened, people submit to their hand unconditionally. And modern medicine is now religion. But same things, and more 100 times more, 1,000 times more extensively, new religion, which is under the name of science and engineering, that new religion will control the people. No more church, no more temples. These engineering controlling centers here and there, that will become the church and temples. And these kinds of systems, doctors, dietitians, etc., or healthcare people are becoming more and more employed as officers, employed members of the government, and no more private practice is possible, and no more private opinion, personal opinion among doctors, dietitians possible, and will be all working as programmed way, scheduled way, and how making people anti-social behavior. That means how let them believe this new society is wonderful society, and how we need bionation or psychonizations. What kinds of technique would be good for this person or for that person, etc., so forth. And that will become the more and more the goals. When medicine, modern medicine, which are going towards this way, legalized as monopolies, monopoly to take care of peoples, definitely goes towards that direction. and world government will be gathering mighty power, money and power, and so-called scientific control, and all over the homes computerized, and there all people are numbered, categorized. This person were liver is artificial. This person kidney were artificial. This person is half brain artificial. This person is sex is artificial. Next stage, this person will be artificialized intestines or this and that. And this person is, this part of thinking is artificialized. These are drugs. And target is complete artificialization of the people. Target is. That type of world government will come, inevitably will come. However, against that, another type of trends now arising under the name of macrobiotic educations. Comparing many new or alternative education or religions or whatever ideas, philosophies, which are very much concerned the people's health, people's freedom. Among them, macrobiotic education is most keenly aware of this future of mankind. And they, through the macrobiotic friends' efforts, together with many other friends who share the same dream, they will try to prevent mankind go towards this way. If they goes partially this way, try to prevent, don't go 100%, and recovering natural quality of humanities. Recovery of natural quality. And making the more biologically healthy, natural health, so natural ideas, view of the world, respect individual the freedom, and respect human natural traditions. Respect parents, respect ancestors, and home will continue as man and woman or whoever love each other, live together as the result of their free expression of love, and they produce offsprings natural way. And these offsprings will secure their utmost health, and not only health, so-called, more and more spiritually develop. traditional religions, Catholicism, Judaism, Buddhism, Shintoism, Protestantism, or various religions will be respected. Anyone can choose any religion. At the same time, between religions, common basic factors will be discovered. That is, as human beings, regardless any religion, what we have to do is common. That is number one, we have to be healthy. So we have to eat proper food. And we have to have the clean, clear environment. And we have to be aware that we are all mankind, brothers and sisters sharing on this planet as a home. Brotherhood, sisterhood will be common factors, as well as good eating, good air, good water, etc. And freedom of everyone's speech and ideas. Regardless, they choose any type of religion as they want. So regardless, they choose any type of education they choose. And society will be the respecting people's free will. And for that kind of societies, hospitals will become less and less and less. Because people will be able to take care of most of health problems. And people know when they become sick, we are responsible ourselves. And therefore, they try to recover themselves. And if they can't do for some reason, then depend upon others, including hospital doctors. So, most of hospitals become unnecessary, except emergency acute cases. And 90% those health institutions which present day all over will become unnecessary. And doctors will change together with school teachers, together with social workers, together with fathers and mothers, will change their orientations. That is, guide of life, guide of health, guide of life. How to eat, how to cook, how to behave, how to think, how to respect parents, so forth. The guide of their life. Orientation change. And present day also psychiatric, the disturbance, various kinds of disturbance which requiring natural synchronizations will be again because mind is affected of our day-to-day eatings, day-to-day life. So by changing eating and life, we change our mind to the more clear and correct balanced thinkings. That will be more and more spread that ideas. So various kinds of mental institutions also will be disappeared, minimized. And so-called mental disturbance will be decreasing very rapidly. And home itself, family itself is becoming, through their family life, becoming the institution to build up the healthy mind. And criminals, so-called antisocial behavior, the new societies under these directions that are considered not the crimes. Those things will be considered as one of mental physical sickness. And therefore they have to be cared and they have to be taken care with good diet and good environment. Then 6 months later, they come out with the very wonderful ideas, wonderful health, and wonderful, peaceful, loving mind. Prisons will be all demolished. And prisons, so-called, he did this, therefore we must punish that. That barbarian's idea. Teeth against teeth, eye against eyes, that barbarian's ideas, they will be all wiped out. And these antisocial behavior, violent people, of wild behavior people will become the very peaceful, loving persons through proper diet, proper day-to-day guidance. So laws, human laws, which were controlling peoples, limiting peoples, and punishing peoples, those human laws will be disappearing one by one. And more human laws are becoming something like human interpretation of order of universe, of nature, or order of God, you may say. Our human interpretation of order of God. And so there is no punishment except self-reflection and self-awareness and recovery from that. And also, therefore, religion, traditional religious approach and social approach, political approach becoming more and more close and finally become one. In other words, spiritual approach will be taking place. And their principle is not money and power, but that is love and respect. With that spirit, society will be reoriented. Politics will be expression of love to the societies. Politics is not the tactics to control people, to manipulate people. Express love to the peoples, to the societies. And our food will becoming more and more naturally cultivated, naturally organically cultivated food. And grains, vegetables are main. And still, various type of transportation, etc. goes, but people will know, understand food is very important for their health, for their mind. So education, for those basic life education will be already in the kindergarten and primary school. How to take care of themselves, how to behave at home, how to respect parents or elders, so forth. And enterprise. A free enterprise will continue, but that free enterprise if those enterprises are harmful for the people's health, people's free thinkings, for the peace of the world, then will become less and less appreciated. Naturally, they will become bankrupt or must close those enterprises. People will start to get more and more whole organic grains. Then naturally, companies or enterprise which is making chemicalized white bread or biscuit will become more and more difficult and naturally vanish out. Same thing is people who appreciate more and more natural sweetness than artificialized and sugar canes, the decorated the cakes and so forth. Those manufacturing companies will become less and less and vanish out. And the same thing is soda industries, Coca-Cola, etc. Huge ice cream industries, huge meat industries, huge dairy food industries, because people do not appreciate any longer, so they have to close or they have to go the bankrupt natural way. Same things, whatever the companies, whatever they're doing, if that they were making, producing, or making that's directly, indirectly serving for the people's unhealthiness, people's bringing out the people's confusions, so forth, will be decrease, finally will vanish out. And these methods, however, should not be enforced by law. No more sugar industry out. If you make sugar, you put in jail. You are put in, not like that. Should go natural process, by people's awareness, becoming those sugar industry less and less and less. No one attack them. Same thing with Coca-Cola, same thing meat industry, same thing dairy food industry, chemical industries. By people's awareness, their existence become less and less and less as a natural process. It may take many decades. And the central government, therefore, what type of government? In this case, central government must control power and money. So, central government gather all nuclear powers, and entire world become scientifically oriented, engineeringly oriented police state will come. In this case, entire world government does not own all these weapons. Weapons, again, becoming more and more less appreciated by people and will be demolished. So no government has weapons. And the government change into the more educational organization, educational and service organizations, and guarding people's freedom, people's health, peace of the societies. And that government will be represented, free choosing people's the election of choice, free choice by peoples. Mostly elders who have enough experience, and by recommendations instead of political campaigns, Republican this, Democrat this, blah, 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 blah. Not like that, more recommendations. Oh, that person is great. Although he is poor, that person's idea, that person's health is very great. So let's recommend him. And through more recommendation systems. And these, the political leaders, whoever social leaders, number one, the qualification is their health, their clear mind, their loving spirit. In other words, ethical, loving, and most people who have most spirit, brotherhood, sisterhood, people who do not mind sacrifice their life for the people's happiness, these people will be chosen, recommended as the leaders. That means future government will be not the political one, more like spiritual one. Spiritual educational service organizations. And for that, of course, science, philosophy, studies, etc., will be, of course, continuously encouraged and developed. But they cannot override spirit of love, spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood. Spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood and love, respect of the order of the universe, elders, etc., those common base cannot be disturbed by any development of either science, or either technologies, either engineering, or whatever. Rather, they follow to this spirit. Problem is that kind of societies, that is more utopia. That society can be built or not. Yes, we know that society takes time, generation to generations. Yes, we know in order to build that societies, realize that societies, we ourselves must become healthy and spiritually developed. Therefore, we know it takes time. We know it takes enormous hardship by us. And we know it is far easy to submit ourselves for the artificialization and chemicalization and engineering method. We are numbered, we submit to other people's, whatever our destiny goes, just blindly follow. It is far easy. But at the same time we know, intuitively, if we go this way, we become totally artificialized slaves. So in order to keep our freedom, your freedom, my freedom, your children's freedoms, grandchildren's freedoms, free individual expression and choice freedoms, we have to go this way, regardless how hard it is. And I know if we put our efforts this decade, next decades, and the following decades, then I know this can be done, will be possible to turn this world towards these directions. It's very difficult, but it is also possible. I appreciate very much in that sense spreading degenerative disease, which support this way, prompt that way, but at the same time, people's native intuition is now start to telling them, many of them, we are something wrong. This civilization something wrong. Our eating something wrong, our life something wrong. People started to know it. On the top of that, now AIDS and other so-called immune deficiency sickness now prevailing. For that again, of course, that tendency stimulates this one. But at the same time, many people start to think we are something wrong. We are making ourselves weaker. Ability of adaptation to nature, resisting to the difficulties, we are losing more and more so-called immune abilities. We have to now build ourselves towards a strong way. That also self-reflection, awareness now coming up. So one way, I feel very sad prevailing degenerations. But another way, I feel these things must be God-given demonstrations and warning teachings to us to make us awake towards making a new world. Category A. This world is built on the view of conflict and war, struggles. This approach is always there, enemies there. Many enemies. Virus is enemy. Soviet is enemy. That thinking enemy. That the religion is enemy. This is enemy. My wife is enemy. This is enemy, that is enemy, that is enemy. So, defense system to protect themselves, guarding themselves. Cancer is the enemy. So, same AIDS is the enemy. This is the enemy. So, all mask defense goes, and defense mechanism goes. That defense mechanism is just more and more goes. And there war constantly going on. War constantly going on. After people are artificialized, control, militaristic control, every individual people of the world. And if free opinion comes, immediately demolish it. That always constant war cause. This is totally opposite thinking. There is no enemies. Everyone is friends. Everyone is teaching us. Soviet is making strong us. Every conflicting, which appear as conflicting factors, are actually complementary. Man and woman complementary. Father, mother complementary. Parent, children complementary. So, Soviet and America complementary. Rich and poor complementary. There is no enemies. And we learn from opposite side and try to harmonize between them, harmonies, instead of conflicts, war, and struggles and killings. Harmonize and giving everyone its freedom. Harmonize and also securing freedoms. However, I know, as everyone knows, very difficult. This is much easier. If we are not awake, keeping awake, without knowing, going toward this way, everyone. Televisions, newspapers, various kinds of contacting systems, governmental system, the political system, economical systems, banking systems, health systems, etc. Without knowing, we are becoming the part of that and going there. This is difficult. We have to keep up our awakeness. And we have to be wise. So we have to keep ourselves best conditions. We have to have keeping the spirit of non-credo. Do not blindly believe, non-credo. Instead of the spirit of believing, easily, blindly, we should have the faith in nature, in traditions, in God, in family, in parents, in ancestors. Faith. Instead, believe without knowing, without understanding any information, data which are given and decorated way, future is so magnificent by engineering artificializations. This generation, our generations, suppose 1985 now, to the year of 2000 is preparation time for whole world, whether this way future go or that way future go. Preparatory time. Many industries, many monies, many peoples going to that direction. At the same time, more and more also people increasing, going towards that direction. This century is a preparation period. The future world divided into two. Then, from this century towards 2030,